Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Yellow Alert, where we take a look at the dev posts over the past week and break them down for you. Okay, so first up we had a post from Akroyali, I think, and it says volumetric clouds. Will there be a solution for the interlace artifact? Currently, the clouds at close distances suffer greatly from an interlacing artifact, parallel lines. It's quite distracting. I first noticed it in the very first sneak peek image of Crusader, however it wasn't present when Crusader dropped into the PU. I suspect it's a side effect of the clouds authoring technique CIG uses, so my question is, will there be a solution for this? Another question is regarding the close-up detail. From the orbital views, the clouds look mesmerising and very detailed, almost lifelike. However, at close distances, the level of detail considerably drops. Is there a solution in the making to create tertiary and quaternary details as one gets closer to the clouds? So we had a response here from Divi, CIG, and it says, I'm just guessing here because I'm not seeing the interlacing effect at all on my end, but I would assume it's caused by some post-processing that was done to the image to remove the noise artifact, which is still around for the time being. There are plans to add additional layers of detail, but it's going to be an iterative process between making things run well and improving the visuals. Right now, the focus is on performance. So as with everything in Star Citizen, it is a iterative process. We are at stage 1, and we need to get to stage 1.6 billion, and they will get there. These things do slowly evolve, but it does take time. So I think we just have to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt for now. Okay, so next up we had a post from Wikipedia at CIG, and it's a Ptu feedback, and this is for Crusader Ares Starfighter Ion and Inferno. And it says, hello, the following feedback thread is dedicated to the new Starfighter Ion and Inferno ships. Note, the acceleration is not accurate in the first release of the ship and will be fixed as soon as possible while in PTU. Let us know what you think below. Wikipedia. So basically there's quite a few posts here, and it's interesting to read what people think of this, but Yogi Klatt has actually come back and he said, hey everyone, thanks for feedback so far. We've just updated the stats of the Ares weapons. The Ion S7 is now down to 38 RPM while retaining the previous DPS output. The Bearing Ballistic Gatling series has its RPM upped considerably while also here retaining the previous DPS. The CL for the change is 7873511, though I do not know if there will be another PTU release before we go live. So they've taken on people's feedback and they have actually changed some stuff, which is really cool. Also, next up we had a post from Dimkins, and it says Buyback is broken. Vol again, slightly smiling face. It's very confusing. They should just allow a smiley face. But anyway, it says, greetings. At the moment, it is impossible to buy updates of the new system at Buyback. And it actually says Buyback, and it's like 6 words. You really could have just read it again. But anyway, the Buyback. We had a response from Ptu at CIG, and he says this has been fixed. Thank you all very much for your patience. So it is great news. So basically, yeah, they've fixed it. The Buyback. Cool, so next up we had a post from Redeemer, and it says, hello, where is the Redeemer? 3.15.1 is live, and it was meant to be out. I'm seeing people flying around with Redeemers, but I don't see one in my fleet manager. The Redeemer is my package ship. I purchased it in 2014 at Piss Poor Pete. Have my bag of money ready, please. And he's got an image of his fleet manager. So Jake Acapella from CIG come back and he said, hey there, there's currently an issue with the Redeemer and Ares Ion Inferno not being correctly attributed in-game for some players. Initiating a character reset and waiting for it to fully complete should resolve this. So anyone having problems with the Redeemer or the Ares, then that is what you need to do, a character reset. Okay, so last up we've got a post from Jake Acapella at CIG, and it's the roadmap roundup for November 17th, 2021. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Every 2 weeks we accompany the roadmap update with a brief explanatory note to give you insight into the decision making that led to any changes. This is part of an effort to make our communications more transparent, more specific, and more insightful for all of you who helped to make Star Citizen and Squadron 42 possible. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into this week's roadmap roundup. So first off, progress tracker. So with this publish, we are beginning to add the schedules for Q3 2022 to the upstream teams, with more to come very soon. With this additional quarter added, these teams have also recalibrated their schedules as a whole, including some notable changes. The following deliverables will be added to the progress tracker. Solar burst. Solar bursts are dangerous natural disasters that happen regularly around older stars like Pyro. In these instances, the sun erupts with a high energy particle wave generated from its surface, travelling at 15% the speed of light through the entire star system. This dangerous high energy particle wave can be avoided by hiding behind other objects that are big enough. Flak ammunition. This new damage type triggers on proximity or expiration, causing a concentrated burst of shrapnel to damage targets in the area. Gravlev physics rework. A significant rework of the flight and driving model for Gravlev vehicles when hovering. The aim is to improve general feel and stability, resulting in a far better experience for players using hover bikes. Drake Cutlass Gold Standard. Implementing, polishing and optimizing all features required to bring the Drake Cutlass to Gold Standard. The following deliverable, previously removed, is now returning to the progress tracker. Prone. All tasks relating to improving prone, lying down, movement by the player and NPCs. The following deliverables are being removed temporarily as the upstream teams continue to calibrate their schedules for 2022. Long distance probing, Hangar Manager app version 1, Bounty Hunter version 2, and RSI links. And release view. The following features have passed their final review, therefore we are marking their cards as committed and changing their colour to blue. 3.15, we have Crusader Ares Starfighter Ion, Crusader Ares Starfighter Inferno, the Aegis Redeemer, the Bearing S7 Ballistic Gatling, and the Bearing S7 Laser Cannon. And for 3.16, we have the Area 18 Hospital, Derelict Spaceships, Points of Interest, Updates, Dying Star Map, Gravlev Physics Rework, and Laser Trip Mine Tier 0. The Misk Whole Sea. The Whole Sea's work is wrapping up in Q4, however the team is opting to give the ship both more time for polish as well as bringing it online with full functionality. Therefore this card is being relocated to the 3.18 release window alongside the following new card. The following card has been added to release view. Cargo System Refactor. This refactor of the ship's cargo system will allow both found and purchased cargo to be picked up, moved around and placed into the cargo grid of a ship. This card is being added to the Alpha 3.18 release window, and that is all for this week. Now it's not entirely all for this week because we had a question from Zelfrax and it says, I had a feeling we'd get bad news in the shadow of IAE as has become a norm, but these delays are nuts. The cargo system refactor delay is massive, at least 6 months. Removal of Hangar Manager app v1 is clearly tied to this. The removal of the other objects feels completely arbitrary. The last couple of roadmaps have injected a near year-long delay with little to explain for it, nor make up for it. The replacement works seem like much smaller scale filler items to make it seem like there is a lot being delivered. Disappointing. So we had a response from Jake Acapella to this, and it says, I've seen this a few times recently as we get further and further away from the initial launch of the new roadmap. So I just wanted to clarify a few things about the key differences between release view and progress tracker. I'm also working on a frequently asked questions that will go into more detail. Release view is just about the same as it always was. It is to show which features are intended for upcoming release windows. These features are marked as tentative and greyed out until final review happens. If it gets a green light for that release window, we toggle it to committed, which happened for quite a few features this update. Progress tracker, on the other hand, is not indicative of a release window whatsoever. This is a very common misconception that I've seen quite a bit recently. The data you see represented is near one-to-one representation of internal planning for these features. Progress tracker is a good way to see what priorities development has at any given time, up to 4 quarters into the future depending on the team. The reason you may not see a deliverables work end, as it were, is that the team's work has finished for the time being. It could be either picked up again by the same team or another team. Let's take the Space Whale for example. The work by the character art team and the AI teams are complete, for now, but additional work may need to be scheduled for it. such as work done by the audio or visual effects teams, or even more AI or character work. Progress Tracker is extremely fluid. Things shift around all the time for a wide variety of reasons. For a change in development priority, change in technology, changing staffing, and even to previous features taking longer to finish than expected, which is a constant in game development. This isn't unique to us. However, we operate with an open door, resulting in the public seeing how the sausage is made. In Roadmap Roundup, I call out the big highlights, especially if something is being removed. Almost every time, however, the reason for something to be removed from the progress tracker altogether, such as the 4 removed today, are due to the other features those teams are working on needing additional resources to complete, so a decision was made to reallocate it. Planning sometimes takes longer than the time between publishes, so if it's removed, the replanning just hasn't happened yet. I call these out in the roadmap specifically. Hopefully that gives a bit more clarity as to how each part of the roadmap works and what it represents. And as I mentioned before, I'm working on a more comprehensive frequently asked questions that everyone can use as a reference. And then there is a TLDR, but obviously I DR'd. The release view is our planned release window for futures, and progress tracker is not indicative of when features are complete. So I think the long and short of that, the TLDR is basically stop moaning. I think we've gotten to the point now where, these things, if you're not used to things being removed from the roadmap, then you're a noob. No, I understand it. We all get frustrated when things get removed, but at the end of the day, like they've explained, it is a fluid process, and if something takes longer than they hoped to be made, but it's something that we want, we have to accept that other things will get moved around. It's just the way of the world. But I think that's a pretty good explanation, and I hope that does go some way to, sort of satiating you, Zelfranks. Yeah, I think we're doing all right. We're getting there. The roadmap is better than it was, but unfortunately, there's always going to be things that are removed that frustrate us. And on that bombshell, I think it is time to leave. Yeah, that is it for this week. We hope that this has been informative for you. Hope you liked it. If you did like it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And don't forget to comment down below what you thought of these answers from the CIG team. It's always nice to hear from them, we've always moaned that we don't get enough information. Now we do tend to get some decent information, so it's always good. But anyway, that is it. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.